Hi everyone and welcome to Strangertimes Paranormal. If you're new here, my name's Steve. Over the last few months, I've been researching one question that's fascinated humanity for thousands upon thousands of years. This isn't a video that's going to tell you what to believe. It's not about proving aliens exist. It's not about proving that ghosts are real. It's about stepping back, looking at the evidence, the history and the patterns, and asking whether or not we've been looking at these mysteries in the right way. So wherever you stand on these subjects, I ask you to keep an open mind, because this is only part one of a much bigger, broader investigation. So let's begin. For the next few minutes, I'm going to ask you to do something extremely difficult. Forget everything you've been told about UFOs. Forget everything that you've been told about ghosts, about Bigfoot, about religion, about angels, about demons, about ancient myths. Forget every documentary that you've ever watched. Because for the next few minutes, I don't want you to think about what any of these things are. I want you to think about what they all do. Throughout history, humanity has done something remarkable. Every time we encountered something that we couldn't explain, we've given it a new name. In one age, there were gods. In another, angels. Then demons, then fairies, then spirits, then miracles. And today, we call them UFOs, aliens, the paranormal. Different names, different cultures, different centuries. But what if we've been making the same mistake for thousands of years? We've spent centuries arguing over names without ever asking a far more important question. What if these aren't separate mysteries? What if they are all attempts to describe the same unknown phenomena? Now, before you click away, I'm not asking you to believe aliens. I'm not asking you to believe in ghosts. I'm not asking you to abandon science, far from it, or accept extraordinary claims without evidence. I'm asking something much simpler. What if we've been asking the wrong questions all along? History has taught us something extraordinary. Every generation believed it understood reality. Every generation eventually discovered that reality was far stranger than it first ever imagined. There was a time when the earth was believed to be the centre of everything. There was a time when invisible forces carrying voices across the world would have been called magic. There was a time when the entire continents were thought never to move. Again and again, reality has forced us to rethink what we thought we knew. So tonight, we're not going to ask, do UFOs exist? Are ghosts real? We're going to ask, instead, one question that has been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years. Is there a pattern? A pattern that humanity has been witnessing, recording, arguing over, renaming, and misunderstanding for thousands and thousands of years, without ever recognising it. Because if there is, then perhaps the greatest mystery isn't whether we're alone. Perhaps the greatest mystery is whether we've been looking at the same phenomenon all along, and simply calling it by different names. If you've made it this far, thank you. Because what I'm about to suggest may sound obvious, but it has the potential to change the way that you look at every mystery that we've ever discussed or that you've ever heard of. As human beings, we organise everything. We separate, we categorise, we put things into neat little boxes because that's how we make sense of our world. History, physics, biology, psychology, religion, archaeology, the paranormal. Each one is treated as if it exists completely independently of the others, and most of the time that works. But every now and then, reality refuses to stay inside that little box that we've built for it. Imagine trying to explain electricity 3,000 years ago to the Iron Age people, for instance, or Stone Age people, or Neanderthals. One civilization may have called it magic, another may have believed it was the power of gods, another may have thought it was alive, it was a being of its own self. The descriptions would all be different, the explanations would all be different, but the phenomena itself would never have changed. Only humanity's understanding of it changes. Now, ask yourself something. What if we've done exactly the same thing with the greatest mystery in human history? What if we've spent thousands of years arguing over the labels instead of recognizing the patterns? Because once you stop asking what these experiences are and instead begin asking how they behave, something remarkable starts to happen. Patterns do begin to appear. Patterns that cross continents, cultures, religions, and centuries. Patterns that shouldn't exist, but they do, if these mysteries truly had nothing to do with one another. So before we examine a single UFO report, a single ghost story, a single ancient text, or a single government document, let's begin with the only place that matters. Not with the answers, with the pattern. If there's one thing that history teaches us, it's that patterns matter. A single event can be dismissed. Two events might be coincidence. But when the same ideas, the same experiences, and the same descriptions appear again and again and again across different cultures, separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years, it's worth asking why. Not because it proves anything, but because patterns are often where discoveries begin. Science looks for patterns. History looks for patterns. Archaeology looks for patterns. So why should this be any different? Over the next part of this documentary, we're going to look at reports from different times, different places, and different cultures. Not to prove they all describe the same thing, but to ask a simple question. Despite their differences, do they share enough similarities? To suggest humanity has been observing the same unknown phenomena through different eyes and given it different names. Let's ask a much simpler question. What is a phenomenon? A phenomenon is simply something that happens. It doesn't tell us why it happened. It doesn't tell us what caused it. It simply tells us that something happened. Throughout history, humanity has witnessed phenomena it couldn't explain. Lightning, comets, eclipses, diseases. Once they were seen as acts of God. Today, we understand many of them through science. The phenomena never changed, only our understanding did. So here's the question. Could there still be a phenomenon that we simply don't understand yet? History suggests that the answer is yes. Not every mystery turns out to be extraordinary. Some are mistakes, some are hoaxes, and some have perfectly ordinary explanations. And that's exactly how science should work. Question everything, test everything, follow the evidence. But what if we've been dismissing one question before we've even asked it? Not, are UFOs real? Not, are ghosts real? But simply, has humanity been observing a genuine phenomenon, one we've described in different ways for thousands and thousands of years? Because if the answer is even possibly yes, then perhaps we've been arguing over the names instead of trying to understand the phenomena itself. Every investigation begins with a witness. Not because witnesses are always right, they aren't. Memory can fail. People can misunderstand what they've seen. People can exaggerate, some even lie. That's why a single witness is never enough. But history isn't built on single witnesses, it's built on millions. For thousands of years, across every continent, people have described experiences they struggle to explain. Most will have ordinary explanations, and some never will. The question isn't whether every witness is correct. The question is, why do these experiences continue to be reported? Why do they continue generation after generation? Why do they occur in every culture? Whatever the explanation, the reports themselves are real. They exist. They've been written down, recorded, investigated, debated, and sometimes ignored. Perhaps the greatest mistake that we can make is not believing every story, it's refusing to listen to any of them. For thousands of years, humanity has looked to the skies, listened to stories, recorded experiences, and searched for answers. Some explanations have stood the test of time, others have fallen away, but one fact remains: the questions have never disappeared. And if those same questions are still being asked today, then perhaps our investigation is only just beginning. Before we finish, we've only just scratched the surface, because in part 2, we'll examine some of the most compelling UFO reports from around the world. We'll look at why governments and militaries have spent decades investigating unidentified objects in our skies. We'll explore the stories that continue to fascinate us and divide opinion, from alleged encounters and paranormal experiences to ancient monuments, myths, and archaeological mysteries. We'll ask whether they are genuine patterns linking these reports, or whether humanity has simply been connecting dots that don't belong together. We'll look at what science has to say, what history has to say, and what questions still remain unanswered. Most importantly, we'll ask whether all of these mysteries are truly separate, or whether they might be different attempts to understand the same unknown phenomena. This is where the investigation truly begins. I'll see you in part 2.